One thing is for sure, no one out here is having any issues with 6 feet of social distancing. This is the Vaughn Oddfellow Cemetery, maintained by the city of Ozark, Missouri. I've been sleeping all day, so 6 o'clock in the evening, so let's get out and stretch the legs a little bit. Here we have the namesakes to the cemetery. Luther Ashley Vaughn, April 3rd, 1873, January 12th, 1960. Uncle to all. And here we have Granville H. Vaughn, 1831 to 1917. Mary E. Vaughn, 1838 to 1928. Hazel E. Ruel, I think, and Matt E. Vaughn. That's all that I can read off of this one. Mattie L. Vaughn, 1873-1950. Mattie L. Vaughn, 1873-1950. G.J. Vaughn, 1862 to 1932 or 31. Laura G. Braziel, maybe? (1865 to 1907). Aldo Vaughn, 1860 to 1900. I need to bring my broom out here and take care of that. Virginia Jean Botts, 1916 to 1919, just 3 years old. I don't know what that was. Virginia V. Massey, 1867 to 1934. In memory of William Botts Jr., 1906 to 1974. Thomas Marshall Botts, 1908 1974. Nina Massey Mills, 1886 to 1976. Is that set or? Okay. I'll try to straighten it out. It's crooked. Beautiful. Mother, Lena Vaughn, 1870, 1951. Waldo B. Gavon, 1901 to 1902. I wonder if there was a wall at one point here. Bluford H. Gavon, 1833 to 1903, and Cynthia J. Gavon, 1841 to 1904. May J. Gavon, 1896 to 1981. Hiram L. Gavon, 1892 to 1977. Imagine the stories they could tell. It's William and Ellen James, 1910 to 77 and 1909 to 2007. 98 years. Victor Drum Bowles and Margaret Davenport Bowles. See 1911 here, but no, 1914. I can't see a date of death. 1919 to 1987. William and Beulah Hurst Davenport, 1878, 1953, 1880 to 1970? 1970. Robert Eugene and Beulah Davenport. Spirit. So it looks like the whole row of in-laws. Sister Mary Jane Davenport, 1917 to 2004. When it comes to headstones, I gotta say I like these guys because you know that they're old. Infant, son of y'all can make that out. Chrisman, 1911. Lafayette J. Chrisman, same last name as that infant there. 1854, 1926. Always makes it difficult to see. Chrisman. I'm having a hard time seeing that. As usual. I don't think I can make that one out. Mary G., wife of S.M. Davidson, July 11th, 1856, February 25th, 1916. Noreen Watkins, 1921 to 1983. A.A. Hap Watkins, 1919 to 1987. And in the back, servants of the Lord. I like that on tombstones when they mark the date they were married. March 14th, 1964. Two little boys, brothers. Austin James and Tyler Joseph. Both died on the same day, 2003. That's sad. Kenneth Earhart, July 2nd, 1916 to 1988. Mary Lou Earhart, 1937 to 2003. Norton, Ivan Roy, and Baroque June. Well, Miss Baroque is not here yet. Ivan Roy, January 16th, 1943 to July 9th, 2012. Michelle Evans, August 25th, 1984 to November 21st, 2003. Families are forever. I just kind of think this grave is interesting. Black stone. Jamie Travis Black, 1977 to 2011. Jesus said, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he may die, he shall live." Look at this tree behind it. Most of the trunk is rotted out. Some of the lower branches are dead, but others, especially towards the top, are blooming. I think that's pretty beautiful. How beautifully decorated that grave is. Here towards the back of the cemetery, I found this. Must have been a part of a gravestone. I can't really tell if there was any writing on it. You can't feel it. Nothing on this side either. Sometimes you wonder. Wandering this side of the cemetery, I found, it's like a little footstone maybe. Harriet Myers Shook, 1842, 1915. There's some more of these smaller stones. I can't help but wonder what those are. Again, we got an unmarked grave right here, and there was one farther down. It was also just a cinder block, really. There's a lot of these stones over on that side I've noticed before. There's some really old stones. I'll be lucky if I can read this one. Born. That's the only word I can make out. 1914, perhaps. Let's see if I can do a routing of that one. Find a grave, I have to say, but they have some better pictures. Check out this tombstone. It's got the years inscribed on the sides. Charles D. Weber, 1853 to 1932, and Pallas Hathaway Weber, 1897 to 1977. There's another little stone right there. And two more here. I'm gonna do some research and see if I can find out what those might signify. Obviously a burial, but you wonder who it might be. This one here just says Harry. 1877 to 1929. Another stone of some sort on it. Z.A. Johnson, born 1851, died 1913. Maggie, wife of Z.A. Johnson, born December 26, 1853, June 22nd, 1900. Johnson, I want to say that was, he was the sheriff out here in Ozark during the time of the Bald Knobbers, and I believe he was one of the individuals responsible for bringing them in and arresting them, and then protecting them from being lynched by mobs out here. If you get some time, which a lot of us do with this quarantining, look up the Bald Knobbers story and that whole war that went down out here in Christian County. It's really, really fascinating. Four of those. 5. That might be a footstone, actually. Some all down that line there. These aren't very legible right now. Mini A. Williams. 1884. Died 1884. And aged 84 years, 8 months, 2 days. Interesting how they did that back in the 19th century. Some stones listed out the years, months, sometimes weeks and days that an individual was alive. Robert H. Williams, Emily R. Williams, 1823 to 1882 and 1825 to, let's say, 1913. Marvelous old stone that is. More Williams all through there. That's the zombie apocalypse Buick we were looking at in my apartment complex earlier. That thing's atrocious. Rachel M. Williams, William R. Williams, 1857 to 1931, 1852 to 1923. Maurice H. son of William W.R. Senior Williams, 1880 to 1903. I guess this stone here designates the Williams family path of earth. Williams, Edith Glenn, 1891 to 1965. Ray, Bessie and John, 1886, 1969, 1877 to 1960. And there's a couple more of those metamorphic stones. And there, and there, and there. fact, all down that line there. You see how I said there's more there? Quite read this one. So that's 1890. Infant son of E.P. and Jewel Treadway, 1935. Maybe these mark infant graves. We have Maples, Maud S., Bruce C., 1894, 1986, 1895, 1986. Bruce died January 4th of 86, and Maud died in August of 1986. Just within 4 months of each other. I'm wondering if this stone is bits of the old wall that must have been around this cemetery, because this same type of stone, we saw some around that far fence over there near the radio tower. So, I don't know. This fence certainly has not been around a heck of a long time. Carpenter, 1831 to 1908, 1847 and 1900. Father, mother. Doesn't say their names. Here's those very tiny stones that I was talking about earlier. All in neat rows. One of my favorite birds to watch is red-breasted robins, just because they're just funny little birds. They're all over this cemetery, and that one, yeah, he knows he's on film right now, so he's just taking his time. Here we have, if I'm not mistaken, a Civil War veteran. These type of stones were issued, for lack of a better term, to Union soldiers who served during the Civil War. The Confederate veterans have pointed ones. This is Sergeant O.P. Burfield, Company, is that Company I? Company I think? 17th Kentucky Infantry. I mispronounced his name. It is not Burkfield, it is Birchfield, as evidenced by this stone behind him. C.P. Birchfield died July 15th, 1919, age 76 years, gone but not forgotten. Nancy E. Birchfield, May 15th, 1844, January 3rd, 1922. Faithful to her trust, even unto death. So it would appear that this and this belong to the same person. Bertha B. Russell, 1853, 1919. Let's see if we can read this inscription. Yeah, I can't make it out very well because of the moss and mold. Mother. I think. No? Yeah, the mother. Frederica Rice. May 8th, 1870. March 14th, 1921. That was a beautiful, beautiful stone. W.T. Hines, February 9th, 1835, June 4th, 1909. And still yet more big stones all on the side there. John Buck Hawes, July 5th, 1865, August 5th, 1953, and Nancy Ellen Hawes, wife of J.B. Hawes, December 4th, 1869 to August 24th, 1949. You gotta wonder, well, I know I specifically wonder, what kind of stories folks like these could tell. I mean, they were born just during and shortly after the Civil War. They witnessed the Great War, otherwise known as World War I, supposedly the war to end all wars, which ended up only becoming the catalyst of sorts to World War II. They saw the invention of the automobile, the conquest of the West, while accepting the gold rush of 1849. Prior to the Civil War is when I really believed that the conquest of the Western states really began. They essentially saw what I would terminalize as the birth of the nation. Some call the birth of the nation when the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights were drawn up. And you'd be right. But the times, that was during the formative years. After the Civil War, that was when our nation really hit a big growth spurt. And they witnessed it. They witnessed, essentially, the changing of the world with World War I and World War II. The world that we now live in today came about because of the world that they witnessed. The changes they witnessed brought about the world today. What kind of stories could they tell? We can only dream. Peggy A., wife of J.W. Hawes, 1875-1909. (1897 to 1937). Inez, daughter of J.B. and Ellen Hawes, 1908 to 1909. Another little stone. And another little stone. William G. West, Company K, 1st Regiment, Nebraska Cavalry, August 31st, 1839 to October 26th, 1909. Civil War veteran. Well, at least. Maybe Civil War veteran. Maybe the Spanish-American Wars. Who can tell? If only he could talk. (1876 to 1961), 1856 to 1914. This must be the older side of the cemetery, because all of these are antiquated graves, whereas more of the new ones are kind of interspersed throughout this area and more back there. Daughter of Boyd, 1896 to 1898. W.R. Boyd, 1850, 1909. This is probably one of the biggest stones in the cemetery. Well, maybe. There's some pretty big ones over there. That one is also quite large, but... Carl G., 1838 to 1884, and Sarah E., 1845 and 1925. Keyser. We have what I assume to be sisters. Fanny Bryant, June 28, 1884 to March 18, 1934. And Bonnie Bryant, 1881 to 1951. Wife of Bonnie Bryant. Unless I'm mistaken, man, this Bonnie must be a man. Beside their stones, there's this right here. It looks like it's, yeah, it's definitely a stone of some sort. Long been buried. I wonder whose it could be. Fanny Bryant, 1883 to 1934. Memory of all veterans resting here. Ozark, VFW Post 7628.